Hello, my name is Tom Rice, Product Manager for Fiori. I've brought along Sibylla Brim, Product Manager for the Fiori Launchpad and responsible for week 4 of this course.
Hello, and also a warm welcome from me.
In this last unit of week 1, how to get SAP Fiori up and running, we would like to give you a high-level overview of how to get SAP Fiori up and running with a focus on SAP S/4HANA. As you've already seen in the previous units, the SAP Fiori Launchpad plays a central role for the Fiori user experience. It enables scaling to hundreds of apps. It provides a single entry point for users to access all their applications, as well as providing access to central services. You can access all apps by clicking on the tiles on the home page and role-specific pages. Alternatively, you can use a navigation menu to access apps, or simply use search if you know part of the app's name. The Launchpad also provides a shell header bar for access to integrated services, and also the underlying navigation technology to navigate between apps. Let's have a look at these more closely. The Launchpad supports Fiori's role-based approach, so that users only see apps that they are authorized to use according to the roles assigned to them. When roles are defined, they are mapped to the tiles, and these in turn are mapped to the actual applications. For each role, such as GL accountant or purchaser, SAP provides templates with some apps assigned to pages and the remaining ones available to the user via the menu, the App Finder, or via search. The roles are mapped to back-end roles for authorization. The Fiori Launchpad also provides a shell header bar, often just called the shell bar, which gives users access to integrated services such as search, notifications, user assistance, and the User Actions menu. What you don't see on the slide is that, via the User Actions menu, the Launchpad also provides powerful personalization capabilities so that you can rearrange the tiles on the screen, add or remove them from groups or pages and sections, and even create your own groups, pages, and sections. The Fiori Launchpad also provides so-called intent-based navigation, supporting flexible and personalizable navigation links between objects and apps. Let's have a look at an example. This slide explains the main aspects, but seeing it in action is an even better way to understand this. So let's have a look at this in an S/4HANA system. So we see here a list of sales orders, and I'm just going to click here on the number of this sales order. So you see it's a link, and we even have some classic UIs here. So let me actually show you what it looks like if I click on Change Sales Order. So we have a seamless navigation to this classic UI with a shell header bar up at the top. I can go back, of course, and here we are in the list again. Let's go to the default navigation to the display of the sales order, the Fiori app here. And as you can see, you can, of course, continue with further navigation. So let's have a look at the sold to party, in other words, the customer. You see here information about it and further links. And what you can always do as a user is personalize this. So let's add here, for example, the customer 360-degree view. You see here we also have this now available, and of course I can click on it and go directly to that app. So you have a lot of possibilities here with the navigation content that we provide out of the box. So let me now hand over to Sibylla for some more information.
Let us take a look at configuring the SAP Fiori Launchpad. What is required to set it up? Basically, this depends on the type of product you're using. If you're running SAP Fiori on an SAP Cloud product, for example SAP S/4HANA Cloud, there's of course very little effort, as you will get the Fiori Launchpad out of the box with all the content in it. You will most likely need to do some adjustments to the roles so that they fit the requirements of your company, and then assign them to your users. In contrast, if you have installed an on-premise product like SAP S/4HANA, you would of course have to do the technical configuration for things which come out of the box in your cloud offering. For S/4HANA, with its very rich SAP Fiori content, we created some rapid implementation tools that help you get your SAP S/4HANA system and its Fiori content up and running faster. In addition to the SAP Fiori Launchpad content, we will also need to configure the Fiori Launchpad features like enterprise search, notifications, and user assistance. Finally, if you develop your own custom Fiori apps and deploy them either on-premise or on SAP Cloud Platform, you would also have to configure all your content assignments. For example, which roles should contain which apps, and should they be part of the Fiori Launchpad homepage or just be available via the App Finder. We will talk about these configuration steps and see the tools that you can use in more detail in week 4 of this course. How is SAP Fiori used in the SAP Business Suite? Basically, when we started developing SAP Fiori, the idea was just to provide this new user experience for only some apps, just the most used ones, for example, employee self-services, like creating a leave request. Over time, the number of Fiori apps available for the Business Suite has grown substantially, and often customers build some of their own apps too. But nevertheless, most users still mainly use classic UIs on Business Suite systems, like SAP GUI or WebDim applications. We recommend to install the SAP Fiori front-end server as a standalone server when you set up SAP Fiori for a Business Suite system. It's also possible to connect several SAP Business Suite systems to the same SAP Fiori front-end server. This front-end server can then be used as a hub to give users access to applications from several Business Suite systems in one single Fiori Launchpad.
Whereas for the Business Suite, the Fiori Launchpad is only used for a selected number of apps, as Sibylla explained, the situation is completely different for S/4HANA. Here, all applications and transactions used should be accessed via the Fiori Launchpad. The innovations of S/4HANA come via Fiori apps, so you'll be losing out if you don't implement Fiori and just use SAP GUI. Also, selectively implementing individual Fiori apps breaks the user experience and results in high implementation costs. The good news is that by leveraging the SAP Fiori Launchpad, all users can profit from Fiori, including those users who still end up doing a lot of their work in the classic UI, SAP GUI, and WebDim Pro. For the transition to SAP Fiori, we are not simply taking the old transactions and rebuilding them with new technology. Instead, we are doing user research to understand how people work these days and leveraging the new possibilities of Fiori to build innovative new user interactions. Fiori apps provide a new way of working and are the only way to profit from many innovations in S/4HANA. Of course, we cannot replace over 100,000 transactions with Fiori apps in a year or two, so these new Fiori apps are supplemented with classic UIs. Nevertheless, over time, we are increasing the number of Fiori apps available to you. As we have seen, the Fiori Launchpad gives each user only those apps relevant to them and to the roles assigned to them. Different roles will have a different set of apps assigned, with some apps being used by multiple roles, as you can see in this example. The Fiori Launchpad provides a single entry point for each user to access all their apps, as well as the shell services such as search and personalization. Finally, the SAP Fiori Launchpad content defines the role-specific navigation networks. This is very powerful and something which SAP provides out of the box via the so-called Fiori Launchpad content. This slide summarizes what I've just explained. The Fiori Launchpad is a single entry point allowing users to navigate to new and innovative Fiori apps, which in turn give them an overview of what needs their attention and which allow them to drill down to details. On the bottom left, we see an example of a Fiori app showing an object page. On the right, an example of a classic UI, VAO2 for those who know the transaction code. We've applied the Fiori theme to all UIs in S/4HANA, both Fiori apps and classic UIs, so we have one look for the whole product, providing a consistent user experience. Let me hand over to Sibylla to explain how you can easily get the Launchpad set up for S/4HANA.
SAP Fiori is how business users access S/4HANA innovations. That means that customers who want to make the most of their innovations may need to activate hundreds, and in some cases thousands, of SAP Fiori apps and other Fiori Launchpad content. In your project, naturally, you want an easy way to do this. Here it is. The recommended way to approach SAP Fiori activation of your S/4HANA system is to identify the business roles that are relevant to your business in the SAP Fiori Apps reference library. There you can find information about all the standard SAP Fiori Launchpad content delivered by SAP. In the next step, you activate the relevant SAP business roles using the rapid SAP Fiori activation task lists. This is the quickest way to get started, as they allow you to enable all associated apps and generate a role and a test user per role in just one step. Explore the standard business role by experiencing them as a business user in your sandbox system. This will help you and your business experts gain a good understanding of how these roles work, such as what insights are provided and how a user navigates between apps and classic UIs to complete their day-to-day work. Once you have a clear idea of which business roles, which apps, and which app-to-app navigations you want to run in your system, you can start adjusting the Fiori Launchpad content. For a fast way to copy and customize the SAP business roles, you can now take advantage of the Fiori Launchpad Content Manager tool. So far, we talked about accessing apps from one S/4HANA system. In reality, most customers have more than just one S/4 system. Often, they have a complex landscape of various S/4HANA and Business Suite systems and cloud solutions. Wouldn't it be great to provide the business users access to apps from all these systems in one single entry point and allow them to navigate easily from app to app across the systems without noticing even that they are entering a new system? We are currently working on establishing such a central entry point scenario on SAP Cloud Platform. The central entry point is planned to integrate with local launchpads, for example, of your S/4HANA or Business Suite system, and content from cloud solutions, for example, SuccessFactors. These systems are going to run independently from the central entry point, but will provide their pre-configured content to be consumed and enhanced with additional integrations and navigation on SAP Cloud Platform. Besides the integration of apps and other Fiori Launchpad content, a tight service integration is also very important for this use case. Obviously, single sign-on across all connected systems is absolutely key for seamless integration, so that users do not have to log in again and again. But beyond this, you would of course expect to receive tasks or work items from your connected systems in one common inbox, as well as expecting other services to work across systems as well.
Thank you, Sibylle. So to summarize, you've now seen what a central role the Fiori Launchpad plays for the SAP Fiori user experience and how important it is for S/4HANA customers to give all their users the Fiori Launchpad to access all their applications and transactions, be they Fiori apps or classic UIs. Sibylle gave you a quick overview of how easy it is to get Fiori up and running for all S/4HANA users, as well as giving an outlook on our plans for a cross-product central entry point in the cloud. For now, we wish you good luck with the weekly assignment, have fun with the next units, and take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.